I would have to say that my favorite superhero is the Black Panther.
Spider-Man.
Batman.
Is Shuri from the Black Panther movies.
He inspires me to make a difference by basically pushing myself. It makes me want to push myself to be the best person that I can be in all that I do, despite whatever might inhibit me.
You know, he's so earnest in his like superhero work, I guess, and he genuinely wants to like help make his community better. And he inspires me to really, you know, like really go with gumption and like have passion for what I do. And just knowing that like helping others really does make a difference.
Because he's so cool and he gets to save people. I feel like what I like about him a lot is that he's a rich guy and he chooses to, you know, help people when he could just be, you know, enjoying his riches and being laid back, but he instead chooses to help save people.
And she inspired me because she's been confirmed to be the smartest person in the Marvel universe, and that's amazing, like to see such a young girl like in such a, like a big universe where there's like superheroes like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and to see her being confirmed to be the smartest person in that universe is just really inspiring.
I try to be a hero in my own life, I would say, by trying to help people.
Watching my brother when my parents go home and helping him with his homework.
I try to be kind to others on a daily basis.
I mean, I'm not as good as Batman, but I feel like as a first-gen college student, I always try to set an example for my siblings and anyone that's to come after me, because, you know, it's always important to have like a role model or someone you can relate to, and, you know, I try to be that person.
Trying to offer guidance, especially to other young people, in support and whatever sort of issues that might be going through. You know, one of the things that I do here at UMBC is attend like a sort of service learning thing with the Shopper Center. And so there I'm able to work with young people from Baltimore City and basically help them with homework, help them with other stuff, you know, like, and just be a sort of positive influence for them.
In the future, like with my future plans, I definitely want to be of service to like educating, you know, young minds and like broadening human understanding of like connection and empathy and such. And I feel like that's definitely something that people don't necessarily always think about in terms of like quote unquote saving the world.
Now let's hear from some student leaders within our community.
So state your name.
Thomas Sutherland.
George Farakis.
Hadassah James.
Drea.
Violetta.
Noah Hughes.
What have you done to help others?
I'm involved in the Shriver Center, so I'm on the Shriver floor in Erickson. So I volunteer every day for teenagers in the risky parts of Maryland.
Why is the power of teens so impactful?
Because we're the future, so the power of teens kind of helps us to get more involved.
Have you had a leadership position?
I was a counselor at a camp over the summer. I was in charge of the arts and crafts sections for the children.
What influenced you to take this leadership role?
I had also went to a camp when I was younger, and the kindness that the counselor showed me inspired me to pass on that kindness to other children.
Have you ever had a leadership position?
Yes, I've been the president of multiple dance groups and a member of the Black Student Union.
Why is it important for teens to help each other?
It's important for positivity, mentorship, also uplifting, and self-worth.
What have you done to help others?
I've done community service. Like one summer, I volunteered at a special needs school, and I was there for 2 months.
Why is the power of teens so impactful?
I think the power of teens is impactful because we can change the world, and we're the millennium, and we have a lot of influence within the world to change the world.
Why is it important for teens to help others?
Because the youth and the voice of millennials influences more than what a lot of people would expect. Because we have a different perspective and a more youthful set of eyes to see inequality and where change needs to be made.
Why is it important for teens to help others?
Teens should help others because they're the next generation and they're going to be the future of the world. And it's also because helping others helps themselves in a way where it gives them experience and teaches them more about themselves.
Now, let's hear from a Maryland teen who went above and beyond to bring about change. On March 14, 2018, then high school junior Chris Fazzari led a walkout to protest gun violence and to honor the victims of the tragic shooting that occurred at Majority Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Working in tandem with the school's administration as well as the school board, Chris spent the weeks prior organizing a protest which would not only allow students to make their voices heard, but would also do so in a safe and organized way. Despite the freezing wind chill, more than half of the student body left class during third period for 20 minutes, gathering near the bus loop to hear several speeches given by students, as well as participate in a moment of silence. Having his efforts mentioned in both the Baltimore Sun as well as the Washington Post, Chris's actions illustrate the power of students to use their voices for change. The following is an interview I had with him over text in which I asked him questions about what it was like to plan the protest as well as his thoughts on student activism. Firstly, what inspired you to take the initiative to put together Riverhill High School's walkout to protest gun violence?
I was inspired to plan the walkout because my neighbor died of suicide from a firearm when I was in 7th grade. Even though I wasn't very close to him, the death affected me, and ever since I wanted to do something to help make sure that no community has to go through what I went through again.
Almost the entire student body came out to show their support for the walkout. What did it mean to you to see so many of your classmates coming together to support this issue?
It gave me so much hope. As I said in my speech, students, staff, and community members who offered all that they could to help me make today possible, to make our voices heard. They give me hope. Hope that contrary to what certain organizations want us to believe, people are good, and they want this violence to end. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Everything in this world is done by hope. Hope is what gets us through these tragedies and pushes us to advocate so that they never happen again."
What were some challenges you faced while putting the walkout together?
The first was a good challenge, which was finding things for people to do. So many students wanted to contribute that it was impossible to give them all meaningful jobs. But it was also a definite challenge dealing with the principal and certain members of the school board who didn't take student activism seriously.
Some members of the community question whether this was just an effort for students to get out of class. Do you think teenage activism is often disregarded?
In my experience, student activism is often disregarded. Some people see it as young people being slackers and trying to get out of class, but students have always been at the forefront of change.
Lastly, what advice would you give to students who want to make their voices heard?
My advice would be to stay hopeful and be persistent. As I told Washington Post, you have to be hopeful because just curling up into a ball and crying isn't a very effective way to get change.